Welcome guys, yet to another video from CEZOR. We bring to you something very different from a very different case manufacturer. Now you must be wondering what I'm talking about. Well, you see that in today's times and even a few years ago, there were small form factor cases that you used to get for mini ITX boards, something for a very smaller size PC for maybe your home theater, or probably if you wanted more desk space. But there are different types of cases that were available in the market and they are still available today. Some cases being like the a very cube case or a slim case, or something which is so tiny and it's you really can't fit a performance PC into it for today's times. So therefore for boards like the Z390 or the newly released X570 from the AMD lineup, I bring forth to you a case which not only looks pretty, but it also it's a powerhouse. So I bring forth to you the NZXT H1 Mini ITX SFF case. Now yes, NZXT is a design case company, as they would like to call themselves, and the case is a rectangular cuboid, which sort of gives it a very similar look to probably a new age speaker or something like that. It looks very good in a design where you have minimalistic furniture and things like that. But yeah, it is also available in white as well as in black color, and it follows the design principle of the H series cases, which being sort of like mesh, and then there's flat fronts, and then there's TG, and so on and so forth. It sort of just follows that sort of principle, and of course it has, that particular case has mesh on all three sides of it, and on the front it has tempered glass. Now if you ask me, I don't know why the tempered glass is there, but I guess that's the position where it doesn't need an airflow or air inward or air outward, and I guess that, again, like I said, it follows the design principle. Case comes with an integrated 650 watt 80 plus gold PSU, which is in the SFX form factor, and it also comes integrated with a 140 AIO CPU liquid cooler, and of course the PCIe 3.0 high-speed riser cable. Now you must be wondering why the riser cable is needed, because that's how the case is constructed. The case has a construction of the motherboard being back to back with the GPU and the PSU on top, while all the cables are routed underneath and below. Now what about the case? Let me just talk to you about the size of it. The size of the case is pretty small. It is at 13.6 liters and with a dimension of 187 mm with that is the width, and the height of 387.7 mm and the depth of 187.6 mm. So it's pretty much like a rectangular cuboid, which I told you before, and it weighs only 6.5 kgs. So it's a light case, but after you build your system into it, I think it somewhat weighs around 8 kilos approximately. Now being so small, its footprint is definitely small. So like if you have a very compact desk, or if you want to set up into your home theater system, or you just need more desk space on your current setup, this particular case will do you justice. As well as, if you think about it, a 140 fan cooler, 650 watt power supply, and you can probably fit a full size GPU into it, you can get a very good workstation build as well as a gaming PC. You could do wonders with that kind of a thing. Now let's look into the top side of the case. The top is just plain metal sheet, and it has the front IO, of course, the standard H series design round illuminated button for powering the system on and off, and it has one USB 3.1 Gen 2 Type C cable, the input, and one 3.1 Gen 1 Type A. Also, it has one 4-pole headset audio jack. Now this is like, it's a 4-pole thing you get with the converter cable, which is basically a splitter cable from one 4-pole to your audio and your microphone, audio out and your microphone in. And yeah, like I said before, taking a look at the overall thing of the case, it has ventilation on 3 sides. Now we'll talk more about that in detail. The case is the 2 sides of the white powder coated case which is there. It has removable mesh filters. So one is a dedicated area for GPU air inlet with of course a mesh filter, and the opposite side has again the same mesh filter, but that is for the 140mm AIO heat output, where your CPU is dissipating heat from there. So there you have it. You have dedicated air inlets and outlets for the respective components, and not to forget the rear side also is a mesh panel, but it doesn't have a filter, but it is a mesh panel, and that is dedicated for letting the heat generated from the motherboard as well as well, your NVMe or your SSD if you really tax it that much. And yeah, the power supply, yes of course, the power supply, the heat generated from the power supply is also exhausted outward from that back panel. Right, so now we are taking a look at when you are building the case. I mean, I found it quite easy to, when at first look I looked at the case and I found out that it has pre-routed flat power cables from the PSU. Now flat cables are already a boon to the industry for better cable management, and in this case NZXT has just taken it there and introduced put in flat cables for this case as well. And the length of these cables are as per the design of a mini ITX board, so you really don't need to do any kind of cable management in the case because they're already pre-routed and tied down. So that's one very interesting good thing about this particular case, making it very easy to build, I believe. It also has your PCI riser cable, which we have talked before, and it's already pre-routed, so you just need to apply the motherboard and just fix the PCI cable and then onto the GPU, and that's just about it. It's very easy installation. The SSD mounts are tool-less design, so you just snap in the SSDs and that's it, it's fixed. You don't need any screws or anything like that. The only thing you need the screws in is for the motherboard fitting, and that's only 4 screws. So yeah, the design again of the motherboard when you're fitting into the case is facing downwards, so all your cables and connections that goes directly to the motherboard are entering from the bottom of the case. And yeah, that just sort of gives it a very clean look. And when you just put your PC onto the desk, all the cables are routed from the rear side along with the power cable, so it kind of gives that very clean and fresh look for your desk setup. And yeah, now okay, so I've talked about pretty much everything, but what kind of graphic cards are going to put in that case? I mean, it's a small form factor, so you're looking at maybe an ITX small form factor graphics card. No, you can actually fit a proper reference size graphics card with a GPU clearance of maximum 305mm by 128mm or a 265 by 145mm with you can go max up to 2.5 slot height graphics card. But in practicality, when I'm building in the system, I have noticed that pretty much a blower's card or a dual fan card would just easily get into the system. And we're not talking about those really beefy cards which you have these ultra maxed out OC cards. I think that's going to be a challenge again, but this depends upon the manufacturer, how they build their cards, and how thick their heat sinks and the overall size is. I've just given you the numbers. Okay, so now well, we've talked about the case, we've talked about how it looks, so let's just see how it feels to build in this case. So let's get building. So right, the components that I'm going to use into this build is going to be the Ryzen 5 2600X along with my B450i gaming motherboard from MSI, because this particular motherboard and CPU combo was from my old system, which I am planning to upgrade, and I probably want to see how it performs in this case as well. For RAM, I'm going to go with two numbers of Delta White RGB 8GB 3000 MHz RAM from T-Force, because well, why not? It has RGB and it's T-Force. T-Force are good performers. I'm gone with the 3000 MHz because apparently I am not really keen on overclocking the RAM. But then again, this is a mini ITX system and I really don't want to push it that much for now. Maybe later on. Now, and for the primary storage, I am going for the WD Black SN750 1TB NVMe SSD, because speed matters to me, and WD Black is the storage brand which I trust, and apparently I've been using it for quite some time, and it's really very reliable. For the secondary drive, I am using the WD Green 480GB SATA SSD because well, I need to store stuff, because well, I can't put in a normal HDD inside this, so might as well go in for a WD Green. Or you can also add a laptop drive, but well, maybe not in this build. So yeah. So the graphics card, I'm going for the Galax RTX 2080 Ti Blower Edition, because I only care about CUDA cores, and that is something where it's a matter of opinion. I mean, I do plan to sort of water cool that card, but right now I just want to see how it performed in this mini ITX case, and I guess I'll probably, I don't know what I'll do with it. So yeah. Like I said, I care only about CUDA cores. And lastly, of course, joining us in this build will be the new plant model that has entered CEZOR, and it will make this build look stunning. So let us get right into the building of this PC case, the NZXT H1, and see how easy it is, or difficult or not, to make your own gaming PC in a small ITX form factor case. So now that we have finished with the build, and I must say I enjoyed the experience. It was quite fast, it was quite quick. It took me a little time to figure it out, that what components go where and where, but once I figured that out, it was pretty easy. And just preparing the system, putting it on my desk and making all the connections, and astonishingly the cable management or the outer cable management is so good, so it just looks very seamless in the design. And I pretty much love the fact that it has such a small footprint, and it looks really neat on my desk. It gives me a lot more room to keep all of my stuff, my lights, my headphone holders, maybe extra pair of keyboard on mouse. I really don't use that, but yeah. And in fact, you can even on the desk of mine, which currently has a dual monitor setup, you can also go for a 3 monitor setup, still yet having this particular case on the desk. And yeah, I mean, well, let's talk about what this case is. Well, at least my opinion of this case, I feel that this case is very beneficial for those who want a no nonsense computer, be it for, let's say, watching movies or multimedia, or doing some basic video editing, or even casual gaming and things, and so on and so forth. But even up to like for 4K software and things like that. But if you're into serious gaming and you need a beefed up GPU, and you really need all those custom liquid loop cooling systems, this is not the case for you. And it's pretty much just speaks more about the elegance design that the H series follows. And if you want something, even like if you're an NZXT fanboy and you need something which is smaller than the H200, I think this is something that you can go on for. It's very unique, it's very elegant, and it's very small. The footprint is really small, and that is the main benefit, as well as building into a system like this, which is so compact. I mean, everything is pretty much routed for you, and yeah, it's just very snappy. I mean, it's very easy to build. The overall airflow design is very well thought of. I mean, NZXT is sort of, in my opinion, did a really good case design for SSF form factor, other than its H200. In fact, I feel that this is an improvement. It goes really small at 13.6 liters. It's maddening. It is just maddening, and is available in both black as well as white color, in your preference. Now, the only cons about this case, I feel, like I told you before, you just can't get a more performance out from it. But you can tell, it doesn't come with RGB. So, well, I mean, at CEZOR Studios, we can definitely add RGB strips to that system, but by default you do not get. And I feel that maybe, just maybe, the tempered glass has the NZXT outline, the logo outline for it, and probably, if you could just find a way to sort of power that up, even a white light or even RGB, I guess that would be something really great to even look at. And hey, the front panel is tempered glass. Probably if you can do something awesome with it. But for that, then you'll have to contact us to make you a custom front TG, maybe, I guess. So yeah. So that's it. I hope you liked this video. If you like it, give me a thumbs up. If you dislike it, dislike it. If you are new to the channel, please click that subscribe button to watch more videos like this. And do not forget to comment below and tell us what did you like about this video, or you just want to tell us something about what we do, how we do. If you have any queries or questions about this case, please feel free to comment below. And yes, I will catch you in our next video. Until then, see you guys soon and take care.